right now, I wouldn't call the Yankees a favorite to win the division. Most sports books in Vegas would call the Yankees a pretty heavy favorite to win the division, which is shocking to me. I'll tell you this, Stacey. If they don't make a run in the postseason, and I mean ALCS, somewhere they haven't been in a while, if they don't make a run, I think Brandon Hyde's going to lose his job.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Now, through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. With me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. That sounds like a really good deal.
Yes, it does. Free NFL Sunday Ticket. It can only get here quick enough, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a baseball person. That's my main sport. But there are some Sundays where I just love watching Red Zone because I can watch everything that's happening. And it's just so great because they just show you the important parts of the game because there's so many non-important parts of football games.
My least favorite question that I've ever been asked in life is, what's your favorite sport? So I don't like picking what my favorite is. I like watching all sports, but
I mean, I like watching all of them, but baseball's my boyfriend.
Sundays and in the winter and fall are my religious day for obvious reasons.
Right. Yeah, that's your church. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you know when our videos go live or premiere. We were live on Sunday night, but sometimes we just premiere because it's pre-taped. Today's show, previewing the series against the Guardians. We're going to talk about Old Timers Day. That's this weekend, making me feel ancient because they're honoring the 2009 Yankees.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but first, let's discuss Yankees and Orioles, neck and neck. How it looks for the Orioles down the stretch, how it looks for the Yankees down the stretch, what the Yankees need to do in order to stay with them or pull ahead of them, because at this point, it looks like neither team wants to do anything.
The Orioles schedule isn't that crazy. It's not the easiest schedule in baseball, but it's certainly not the hardest either. They do have competitive teams on their schedule, but a lot of the teams that they're playing are teams the Yankees just got done with and couldn't really take advantage of. So if the Orioles can, they're destined. Their fate kind of falls at their own feet, right? They go into a series this week against the Mets, who, I mean, we've all known, if you live in the area, are the most flip-floppy baseball team you've ever seen in your life. And then let me just quickly read off the teams that they play following the Mets series. Ready? Astros, Dodgers. That's tough. Then they finish off the month against the Rockies. So then you get a little bit of a break. That's their West Coast trip. That's their last West Coast trip of the year. And then it goes right back to what the Yankees are dealing with. They get the White Sox, they get the Rays, they get the Red Sox, the Tigers, the Giants, the Tigers, the Yankees, and the Twins. That's it. There are not many teams on there that you think the Orioles are oh my gosh, scared the Orioles are going to lose. However, the Orioles have been as inconsistent as the Yankees have been. So I don't know whether I can look at that schedule as a Yankee fan and say I'm confident the Yankees are going to win the division. I also don't know if I'm going to look at that schedule as a Yankee fan and say I'm confident the Orioles aren't going to blow it away either. Because it doesn't look like either team has been taking advantage of the easiest parts of their schedule they've had. So would I be necessarily shocked if the Orioles dropped a game to the Tigers or dropped a game to the White Sox? No, I wouldn't. Do I think the Orioles, but if I had to sit there right now and guess, are the Orioles going to lose 2 out of 3 to Detroit, right? Are the Orioles going to lose a game to the White Sox? Are the Orioles going to struggle against these teams? I wouldn't guess that. I wouldn't think that. So right now, I wouldn't call the Yankees a favorite to win the division. Most sports books in Vegas would call the Yankees a pretty heavy favorite to win the division, which is shocking to me. I just don't know. The Orioles are a team that, I'll tell you this, Stacey, if they don't make a run in the postseason, and I mean ALCS, somewhere they haven't been in a while, if they don't make a run, I think Brandon Hyde's going to lose his job because this team has a lot of talent. Yes, this team has a lot of talent on it. I know they're young. There's a lot of talent here. They significantly improved the pitching staff in the offseason. And I mean, it's all been about the Yankees this year, right? Because they haven't been able to come through and they had that massive struggle. And everyone's talked about how the Yankees have struggled this year. And in part, their record looks as good as it does now because of their sizzling hot start. But Stacey, has the most if you don't take into account the Yankees falling apart, are the Orioles not the most underwhelming team in all of baseball?
Here's my thing. They were ahead of schedule last year.
Okay.
By all measures, they were ahead of schedule last year. Everyone expected their last year to be this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
This year, they've fallen back a bit, which people expected. But they also did lose some guys. They lost some key guys, especially in the rotation. I know they supplemented it with getting Corbin Burns and other people. But I don't think that's enough to fire Brandon Hyde at all. I think he would definitely have the confidence of ownership to keep this going. Will it be disappointing that they took a step back this season? Yes. But again, they were ahead of schedule last year. So
I think they've taken a significant step back. I mean, I know they're 20 games over 500. That doesn't say much with the amount of bad baseball that there is in baseball nowadays. But overall, I mean, the Yankees had their 2 seasons are 2 different tales, right? Because the Yankees started off so hot and then were so bad and it kind of got them to where they are right now. The Orioles have just been middling the entire year. Yes, they've consistently won series, but they have not went on this stretch of just utterly dominant baseball where they took 17 out of 20, 15 out of 20. They haven't gone on those stretches this year. Right. I just think there's been a lot to desire out of the Orioles this year. Where, I mean, we've said it all year. They should easily be up right now with the way the Yankees have played better and with them kind of like faltering a little bit. The Yankees should be up what? They should be down what? 6.5, 7 games to the Orioles. They really should. With how poor the Yankees played for 2 months straight.
Right, because at one point when the Yankees were really, really bad, the Orioles could have easily had a double-digit lead if they had played the way they were supposed to play.
And I'd say now with the Orioles' struggles, it should be down to 7 games, 6.5 games. But in reality, should the Yankees be winning this division or en route to win this division? I don't think so. The Orioles should be well ahead. It should be cruising to a division title, not be competing this much for a division. They really shouldn't.
Right. And then on the flip side, with the way the Yankees have improved, if Clay Holmes doesn't blow, like maybe he blows 6 saves instead of 10 saves, the Yankees are up. Like 4 games. So both teams have had opportunities to kind of pull away, and neither of them have taken advantage of it. That's why, and I said it in the AL East preview, I felt like it was going to be a neck and neck kind of thing down the stretch. I didn't envision this, though. I didn't envision the inconsistent play of both teams. I expected both teams to just be good and just battle it out. I mean, I'm not saying they're not good. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They got to a point where they have 2 of the best records in baseball, but the inconsistency is just so maddening to watch on both sides. It's just like, oh my, who is going to take this division? Because neither one of them seems to want it. It's amazing. And that trip, that one trip they have, was it Astros, Dodgers, Rockies? That's not easy because
no, it's not. And
especially as bad as the Rockies are at home, they tend to do better at home and beat teams that they're not supposed to beat. So that is not an easy trip at all.
Also not easy because that's the last series you play on the road trip. And often that last series is the one teams struggle on most, because if you come out of that Dodgers series somewhat positive, you go into the Rockies series, we're 3 games away from getting home. They're tired. They're exhausted. Teams tend to kind of struggle a little bit in that spot. I'll say this. I've been very adamant against the Brian Cashman did nothing at the deadline people, because I tend to stick on the side of what was he supposed to do? What more was he supposed to get done? That franchise-altering player was not out there. Right. If you think it's Jack Flaherty, fine. And I guess you're going to have a point because he's played really well for the Dodgers. Overall, that Yoenis Cespedes in 2015 for the Mets, that move wasn't there to be made. It wasn't. I don't know what Cashman should have done. If you wanted Spencer Jones traded for Jack Flaherty, I don't know what to tell you. However, I will sit on this argument. I do think the one spot that he did miss out on is going after an elite closer. Yeah. And as much as the A's said it publicly, you're never going to convince me Mason Miller wasn't available, because the A's are a middling team that are going to finish another year, 15 games under 500. They're struggling financially. They're going to play in a stadium that holds 7,000 people next year. They're moving in a few years. The A's need to build their farm system up. And if you offered a massive package for Mason Miller, the trade would have went through. I know he had the broken finger. That's healed already, and he's back throwing 105 miles an hour again. I just sit there, and to me, and I was saying this prior to the trade deadline, Stacey, I think that was the move. And I think that's a move that, yes, would it have annoyed, if we're talking about it right now, would it have annoyed you that Spencer Jones is an Oakland Athletic? Probably, right? However, that game wasn't lost the other day against the Tigers if Mason Miller's your closer. It wasn't. That was a one game, and including a couple of other games. More importantly, including playoff games. And if the Yankees would have went on to win a World Series with Mason Miller, you wouldn't have cared where Spencer Jones wound up.
Not at all.
You wouldn't have. and that is on Brian Cashman. It is on him to see that Clay Holmes is not a legitimate closer. And if he's blowing games in a Little League Classic, you really think he's going to be able to save games in a World Series, in an ALCS? Right. Do you trust him coming in a Game 7 of an ALCS? I sure as heck don't.
No.
So that is, again, I'm not sitting there saying that these massive moves should have been made, because I don't think that franchise-altering move was out there to be made. I don't.
No, it wasn't.
However, you're never going to convince me Mason Miller wasn't available. Ever. You will never convince me that he wasn't available, because, and I wonder if Cashman made a call, because I do think if you made the call, I do think he inevitably was available. Now, I'm not saying it would have took a crazy price. Of course it would have. But are you telling me that price wouldn't have been worth it when your closer leads the major leagues in blown saves?
I know. Yeah. So the key for the Yankees, just win series.
Yeah, and here, let me just quickly go through the Yankees' remaining teams, right? Because it's very similar to what the Orioles have. That's why the better team's going to win this division, hands down. The Yankees have the Guardians. That's a tough series they're going into. Then they get the Rockies in the Bronx. They get the Nationals in D.C. They get the Cardinals, who are as average as the word average. Then they get the Rangers, who are bad this year, weirdly enough. The Cubs, the Royals, the Red Sox, the Mariners, the A's, the Orioles, and the Pirates. If the Yankees want to win the division, it's right in front of them too. So both teams don't necessarily have impossible schedules. They're both going to have an opportunity to control their own destiny and go ahead and take the division if that's what they want to do. But go do it. Prove that you're a good team.
Yep. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notifications so you know when they go up. Also, reply to our pinned comment Monday through Thursday if you want your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday. Brian will be doing it by himself this Friday. Make the questions as funky as possible.
Come at me.
Make them fun. Or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club and get top priority on Fan Mail Friday. And you get other perks. The link is in the description. You'll get text from us. You can text us questions, reactions. There were a lot of reactions to Sunday night's game. I'll tell you that right now. There's a 14-day free trial. It's a lot of fun. Coming up, I turn to dust as we talk about the lineup for Old Timers Day.
You've heard us talk about it a lot. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Well, we have something a little different for you guys. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial to NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube or YouTube TV. And then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every NFL regular season Sunday afternoon out of market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime you want. Guys, think about how amazing that is. You get to watch all the NFL you want, which means on FanDuel, you get to bet all the NFL that you want. I know baseball season's coming to an end, but the money is made in football season. And you're going to have that opportunity to on FanDuel, and they're giving you an opportunity to watch every single NFL out-of-market game. All you have to do is visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to download America's #1 sportsbook. Welcome back, and thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen. Today, and for your second listen, enjoy the Locked On MLB podcast. Host Paul Sullivan, a.k.a. Sully, is here daily to provide national expertise with his trademark humor to help you get ready for the MLB playoffs. Here in the not-so-dog days of summer anymore, you can prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully, who has it all covered every single day on Locked On MLB. It's available on YouTube or wherever that you get your podcasts. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And don't forget that you can catch every pitch of the Yankees' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees.
So Old Timers Day is this Saturday, August 24th. It's not the same as it's been in past years. They're still doing the not playing a game thing, and it's just going to be introducing some older players, former players, and interviewing them. This year, they are honoring the 2009 World Series team, the last team to win the World Series, the last team to make the World Series. There are a lot of first-timers that are going to be there for Old Timers Day, which is a lot of fun. But this makes me feel ancient. I hate it. I knew they were going to do it, obviously, because 15 is a big anniversary, and they did 98 last year for the 25th anniversary of that team. But, oh, God, I don't like this.
This is the only World Series that I actually have a recollection of watching my team win. But the names on this list make me feel ancient because they're all retired. Like these are all I think 99% of this team isn't playing on the league anymore. I don't know if there are any players that are still on.
No, they're all retired.
They're all retired. Every single one. So think about. I mean, you'd have to be like a rookie, I guess.
Because someone asked. No, but listen, someone asked. They were like, "Well, where's D-Rob?" And this was literally after.
Oh
D-Rob,
yeah. Well,
no, but this was after he pitched for the Rangers against the Yankees. And on Twitter, I was like, dude, he just pitched yesterday for the Rangers. He's not going to come for all. He's still playing.
Yeah, no. So that's the only one, though. That's got to be the only guy on that team that's still an active major leaguer.
I'm trying to think. I think so. I think he might be the only one left. I can't think of a single other guy. That's, I mean, he's had a very long
sustainable career. Like, good for him. But yeah, I think he's the only one left. It's amazing. So here, let's put the names up for everyone. It'll make you feel so old. Boone Burnett. Boone will be there just because he's the manager and because of he's an old time Yankee. But Francisco Cervelli, Phil Koch, Johnny Damon, Girardi, Jerry Harrison Jr. Which I gotta be honest with you, Stacey. I guess you gotta have the whole team there. But do we need Jerry Harrison Jr. there? Or Eric
Jerry
Hinske?
Harrison Jr. provided one of my best postseason moments. Yes, he should be there.
I love that Matsui will be there. Andy Pettitte, Posada, obviously, A-Rod, CC, Swisher. I love that they let A-Rod back because I don't think the Yankees were too keen on having A-Rod there the last couple of years, and I love that A-Rod's coming back. Absolutely, and I think A-Rod will get a standing ovation. I think he'll be cheered. There's no way he's going to get booed.
Yeah, no, I think he will be. AJ was on a podcast and he said that they've been sending him notices for Old Timers Day, and he's like, man, I'm not old enough for this yet. And then CC called him up and said, I'm going, you're coming with me, going to be there. So he's only really going to be there because of CC, because he still doesn't feel. I mean, AJ Burnett's younger than me. He was born in 1977. CC's younger than me. He was born in 1980. Nick Swisher is younger than me. All these guys who are younger than me, like Jeter and I are the same age, so that makes me feel better. But
that makes me feel worse. That makes me feel worse for you though, that you and Jeter are the same age. Because honestly, it was like a match made in heaven. That you're the same age, it would have been perfect, and it didn't work out. I don't know what happened. I know.
I'm 2 months behind him. He's June 26, 74. I was August 26, 74. Like I had that in my head in my 20s. I was like, oh, we're destined to be together.
Yeah, and then you weren't.
And then we weren't. I did see him in person, which was really cool. The night the Yankees won the 2000 World Series, my friend worked for the Yankees, told us where they were going to be. We showed up at a club. They let us in. We were hanging out with the Yankees all night. Didn't go up to them. I was just so happy to be in the same room with all of them that we were the only girls in the club that didn't try to get at them. And it was just cool. I was just like, oh my God, there's David Justice. Oh my God, there's Glenn Allen Hill. There's Derek Jeter. It was like unbelievable. Jose Vizcaino, he was there that night too. Like it was great. So this will be fun. I mean, it'll be fun to see some of these guys. Phil Koch, man, okay. So 2009 was my first full year on Twitter. And I made a lot of friends that year on Twitter. We would have meetups at Yankee Stadium. So I met a bunch of people. Like this is before social media got really toxic. Mm-hmm. And whenever Phil Koch came into the game, I used to put up that old meme of the white cat with goggles on that said, let's do Coke. Whenever he came into the game, that was my thing. So whenever I see Phil Koch's name, that's what I think of. I just think of old Twitter from 15 years ago before it became a cesspool. And just how much fun it was. We were just a group of people watching Yankee games together on the TV while we were typing into our laptops and commenting on everything.
I think of seventh grade. That's what I think of when it comes to the Yankees. that's what age I was. I was in seventh grade when they won 35. That World Series.
I turned 35.
I went to the parade. I got to be closer to City Hall because my dad was flashing his badge, which let us in. I know I took the ferry to the parade. I missed a day of school. It doesn't feel like it's that long ago, but it really was.
I didn't go to the parade.
It's just crazy. You didn't go to the parade?
You know why? I had just started a job the month before, and I was like,
I would have quit.
I don't know if I should take a day off.
I
And
would've
then
quit.
while I'm at the job, my boss is like, why are you here? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I figured you would have taken off for the parade. I'm like, I didn't think I could take off for the parade. He's like, well, you still have time to get down there. I'm like, but I was dressed in Yankee stuff because it was casual Friday.
I've had that predicament the last couple of years with the Rangers being good. Now the nerve of me to think the Rangers would win a championship. But going into like at work, I'm just solidifying, like, because you don't know the day of the parade. You don't know until a couple days before the parade happens that it's when it's going to be. So it's kind of hard to use PTO or get off because you're not going to have time off. I've definitively said to all my coworkers, I'm going to be sick that day. Like, and I'm not a fake sick kind of person to avoid work. I'm not that kind of person. That's an exception for me. Like going to a championship parade, especially now, Yankees, I get more because I'm assuming you went to one of 96, 98, 99, or 2000. I'm assuming you weren't at one of them. Nope, I did not go to one of them.
96, I was still up at school. I could have gone down, but it was two guys I didn't really know, and I didn't trust going in a car with two guys I didn't know for nearly 6 hours to go to a parade. So I was kind of like, eh. 98. Why didn't I go to 98? I was working. I don't know why I wouldn't have gone to 98 or 99 or 2000. I guess maybe, I don't know. I also don't really like big crowds either. Like
neither do I, but the championship parade, like I'm dying to go to one now that I'm 21.
No, my brother went to one of the Giants parades. I think he went in 2012. And when he came, he was wearing a hoodie. When he came home, he opened the hoodie and there was all confetti all over the all over the house. I will say this, the day of the 09 parade, I was walking to my job on 55th Street and it was 55th between 6th and 7th. And I was between 5th and 6th. And no, I was between, Madison and 5th. And I was just passing the residence entrance for Trump Tower. And all of a sudden, the doorman runs out and he goes, hey, are you going to the parade? Because he had a French accent. I can't imitate it. And because I was wearing all Yankee stuff. And I said, no, I'm just going to work. He's like, oh, why aren't you going to the parade? I said, I have to go to work. He's like, oh, I thought you were going because of the outfit. I said, no, I'm not. Thank you for making me feel bad about not going. And then I went to work. But I mean, he literally chased me down the street. Like, are you going? I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, what?
I'd personally make sure that I'm there. I don't think that's something I'd want to like miss. It would just mean, but again, it feels different for the Yankees because the Yankees, you got used to parades kind of, right? Even when it was 09, like a lot of the fans it was still 9 years their previous championship.
Yeah. Well, my dad was at 96, 98, 99, and 2000 because.
Yeah, so I don't think there's that much the motivation to get to 09 at that point.
He worked downtown though. He worked downtown. He was in buildings. So he was up where the ticker tape was. He was throwing stuff out the windows and looking down on the parade. And I probably could have done that with him, but I was like, yeah.
The Rangers parade, that was one of those you have to go to because it's literally once in a lifetime.
Yeah, we should have done that. I don't know why we didn't. So, I wasn't
alive. I would have loved to go.
The 2009 Yankees, A-Rod, CeCe, AJ, Jeter, obviously, like all the bigger names. Yeah, Matsui. Matsui's been at Old Timers Day. He hit a home run in Old Timers Day in the game. Yeah, I was there for that. That was funny.
I'm okay with no game, by the way. I'm okay. I don't need a game. Like if they want to do it, fine. I don't need to see a bunch of old dudes play a baseball game. Like it doesn't do anything for me. I think it's a nice thing, but like it doesn't make me upset that they're not doing a ceremony. To me is fine.
No, but no, see, I've been going to Old Timers Day for nearly 30 years at this point, and I stopped going because they don't play the game anymore, because it's fun just seeing, especially, well, now most of them are not here anymore. But when I first started going to Old Timers Day, you literally had players from the 30s and 40s showing up. Yeah. And you could always tell which era they were from how high their pants were. All right, coming up next, previewing the Yankees and Guardians series.
PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. And all you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks. With as little as 4 correct picks, you can turn $10 into $1,000. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Preseason football is underway, but you can also pick more or less on the 2024 season stats on PrizePicks. Will Patrick Mahomes throw for more or less than 4,300 yards? Will CJ Stroud's sophomore season result in more or less than 4,150 yards? Enter your season picks before week 1 kicks off. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB, all lowercase letters, for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's code all lowercase LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks for deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks, run your game. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows that are covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now, available on the free Fire TV channels app. And remember that you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. Stacey, we are back, debatedly better than ever, but let's get into the Yankees and Guardians series. Game 1, Yankees get Luis Gil on the mound. 12-6, 3.25. He's had a really solid year. Little bit of a rough patch in the middle, but other than that, he's been fantastic in my opinion. What an unbelievable rookie season, even though we've seen him before. Matthew Boyd will go for the Guardians. He's 0-0 at a 1.69. Had a really good start in his first career outing. Only gave up 1 run through 5. Well, I don't know if it was his first career outing, but it was his first outing of the season. He's only pitched 5 innings. He went 5 1/3, gave up 1 run, had 6 Ks, 3 hits. Again, this is a Guardians team that's really good, just about the same record as the Yankees. But like we've said, a team you're likely going to wind up meeting in the postseason, it's a team you got to beat. Like, yep. You want to go further, you got to beat them. In the second game of this series, you get Nestor 6-10 with a 4.20. Really underwhelming season out of Nestor, in my opinion. You follow good start by bad start by good start by bad start. Unbelievably inconsistent. Not the normal Nestor Cortez we're used to. And he'll go up against undecided.
I heard he's pretty good.
He's pretty good this year. Yankees have seen him a lot, though. They've struggled. Actually, Yankees have struggled against undecided a lot this year. I wonder what undecided ERA is against the Yankees. Just keep of note, guys, that Wednesday game is going to be a Prime Video games. It's going to be on one of your Amazon Prime, which they play I feel like twice a week. They play a game on Amazon Prime.
It's every Wednesday. It's every Wednesday. Yeah.
And then Thursday, another classic 105 start. That'll be an MLB Network game, by the way. You'll get Garrett Cole 4-2 with a 4.15 ERA. He'll go up against Gavin Williams, who's 2-5 and a 5.02. So I feel like the Yankees have the pitching advantage in this series. Other than the middle game with Nestor, but you don't know who the Guardians are going to throw out there for that game. Other than that, the 2 starting pitchers, you get a rookie and you get a guy with a 5 ERA. Go beat him. Like, that's the advice you get. Go beat them. And you get 2 of your best pitchers that are going up against 2 of their not best pitchers. Go beat them. That's the advice that you have to give. And you know what? You want to consider yourselves one of the better teams in baseball. You want to consider yourselves a pennant contender, a World Series contender. These are the teams you have to beat. There's a likely chance if they make a run to the World Series, they're going to run into Cleveland. So,
they always run into Cleveland in the playoffs.
And they generally fare well against them.
Yeah, lately. Yeah, it's a reversal of the 2000s. I was at the 07 series. I was at game 5. That was my first playoff losing series game. Yeah, that was
rough.
That was not fun. Also, Travis Hafner nearly killed me during BP. We had seats in the upper deck. Wow. Yeah, the first row of the upper deck at the old stadium. And during batting practice, I'm like, I can't see these balls flying up here this fast. I mean, I had to duck out of the way 3 times. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go up to so I went up to the walkway between the 2 levels of the upper deck, the old upper deck. I was like, I think I'm going to be safe up there. I'll wait for batting practice to be over because, he nearly killed me.
Well, thank God it didn't happen.
I know.
They lost the series. I'm sure. Would you have taken the death for the winning series, though? No.
No.
But yeah, this is one of those series, right? You have the advantage in pitching matchups. You got to go win the series.
Maybe a hospital visit.
Like a bruised eye, right?
Yeah, like
a black
broken
eye.
orbital bone or something.
Yeah. No, you got to take that for the team. Broken orbital bone easily to get the series win.
I would take that for the team. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. We got ice.
What a series that was with those midges and ick. Yeah, that was not fun. But 2007 was a very strange year because they were awful for the first half. They were under 500 at the All-Star break. the Mets were doing really well. I had to deal with coworkers who were teasing me about how well the Mets were doing and how bad the Yankees were doing. And then the Yankees started picking it up. Yeah, the Yankees started picking it up, and I wasn't saying anything. And I've told this story before, but I want to tell it again because it's fun. I was at home in my apartment in Manhattan on the last day of the 2007 regular season, watching John Glavine just get completely destroyed by the Marlins in the last day of the season. Do you remember when the Mets only had to win like 2 games out of the last however many to win the division? And then they didn't even. So after being teased for literal months by my Mets fan EVP and his executive assistant, I went into work that Monday. I walked through the glass double doors from the elevator bank, and my coworker Joe's cubicle was right there. And I said to him, "Isn't it a glorious Monday morning?" And he knew what I was alluding to. I didn't go to them. I went straight to my cubicle. And Doreen, his executive assistant, around noon came up to me. She's like, "Come on, give it to me." I said, "Look, the Yankees might lose to Cleveland in the first round. You learned your lesson. You don't talk trash until after things happen."
You learned your lesson, but still a lot more embarrassing for the Mets that year. They blew a 7-game lead with 17 to play. That's pretty bad.
That was, and then the next year, the same thing happened. And
yeah, but the next year was the year that they just collapsed entirely. Well, 2007 was the legendary collapse.
No,
because it was coming off 2006 when they went to the NLCS and they lost to the Cardinals.
Right, but 2008 was funnier because the last game ever at Shea Stadium, they decide they're going to do the ceremony to celebrate everything after the game. So after they lose, after they're knocked out, they have to sit through this ceremony honoring the Mets in their last game at Shea. Who does that? Why would you schedule the ceremony for after?
Not good. The Yankees got lucky with that in 2008, where they were already eliminated.
Yeah,
so it
was like, oh, cool. Okay, let's have a cool ceremony. I was there for that. That was fun. And I knew it too because I was like, oh, I have tickets to the last ever home game at Yankee Stadium. This is really fantastic. Cool. Okay, I don't have to spend hundreds of dollars for a ticket. I already have it. So yeah, we were there for a long time. They let us in early that day. We got in at 4:00. We were watching batting practice, and I watched Jose Molina, and I said, "He's hitting a home run tonight." He's hitting a home run tonight. Look at the way he's hitting the ball. My brother's like, "It's just batting practice." Who hit a home run?
I would have responded the exact same way your brother responded, but
yeah. Please. I tell you guys all the time, and I'm addressing the people watching this. The game against Texas in 2006, when the Yankees were down 9-0 in the second inning, I was at that game, and they came back and they won the game 14-13. Mo comes into the game, and I said to my brother, "He's giving up a run here. He's giving up the tying run." He's like, "Whoa, why would you say?" And this other guy sitting in my section was yelling at me, "Well, how dare you say?" What happened? Yeah, and then Posada had to walk off. So
it works on both sides.
Sometimes I get these feelings where I'm just like, and then my brother was right about that game because when they were up 9-0, he's like, Texas has no pitching. He's like, if they can keep them at 9 or 10, they have enough time to make up the deficit and pull ahead and win. So we both were like, you watch enough baseball, you kind of if you watch a team day in and day out, and you get a feel and patterns of play, for players and how things work. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's thundering outside my door.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, that's them saying, all right, end the show. All right. One more time. You can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. We'd like to thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen. Now go check out the Locked On MLB podcast. You can prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully, who has it all covered every single day. You can find the link to Locked On MLB in the description, so you don't need to search. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll see you guys tomorrow night.